Hello, thanks for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Franklin F.A. Remember, you can watch this news on Vision TV 247 and other social media platforms displayed on the screen right now. Let's begin with the headlines. Russia and China consider construction of a nuclear power plant on the moon from 2033 to 2035. Federal government reviews legal aid guidelines for prosecution of cases relating to children in conflict with the law. And ensuring food security, federal government takes bolder steps to boost food production. U.S. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump on Tuesday won overwhelmingly in statewide nominating contests across the country. Let's get details from Kolo Muhammad.
United States President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump swept through to victory in statewide nomination contests across the country, setting up a historic rematch in November's general election despite low approval rating for both candidates. It was a tough night for Trump's Republican rival, Nikki Haley, as she won only a single state of Vermont. She watched the proceedings from her home state of South Carolina, deciding not to speak on Tuesday night. Analysts believe it is a sign she will soon end her campaign.
We have no choice because November 5th is right around the corner. November 5th is going to go down as the single most important day in the history of our country.
On the Democratic side, President Joe Biden swept the map with only one more state to go, with Jason Powell may win. Reports say wins for Biden have won him the flag-bearing stance for the Democratic Party in the November 2024 U.S. presidential election. In a statement, President Biden said today millions of voters across the country made their voices heard, showing that they are ready to fight back against Donald Trump's extreme plan to take U.S. backwards. With the election scheduled to hold in November, the times just ahead are believed to be capable of writing a fresh United States general election history in a narrative analysts say may have never been seen before. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
The capital of Haiti is largely shut down, largely due to unrest, with residents only venturing out for essentials as authorities imposed a state of emergency curfew after a jailbreak in the town. Well, the Prime Minister is still abroad in hopes that a UN-led peacekeeping contingent will arrive Haiti to restore peace. Here is Kolo Muhammad again.
Following the latest crisis, Haiti is said to be going through a strange administrative phase where gangs hold sway at different parts of the country, rolling out orders on citizens that must be obeyed. The gangs have also demanded the resignation of the Prime Minister Ariel Henry, whose whereabouts are said to be unknown since he traveled to Kenya in hopes to have a UN-backed peacekeeping mission to restore order in Haiti. The orchestrated prison break came in a new wave of violence sweeping through Port-au-Prince, the capital city, where armed groups who control much of the city have wreaked havoc since last week. Reports say some locals are regularly on the streets looking for water and fuel daily, as life and living has been very challenging amidst the crisis and curfew imposed by the authorities. This is overly dangerous, even though the locals say the risk is worth taking. Foreigners living or working in Haiti are in a fix. For instance, this Floridian woman cannot travel to honor a doctor's appointment as airports are closed. Running a private hospital has not been easy either, while public transport is practically at a standstill and private vehicles are rare. Schools are closed and turned into shelters for residents that have been internally displaced. Major roads barricaded, making movement by even essential workers impossible, and banks are closed. Sports centers, as well as other public buildings, have been made shelters for over 15,000 people said to have been internally displaced. These shelters are often without adequate toilets, healthcare facilities, and drinking water. The situation is gradually drifting into a disease outbreak situation. In a statement allegedly handed out by the leaders of the armed group, states that they are coordinating to oust Prime Minister Ariel Henry, who had been the Caribbean nation's leader since the assassination of the former president Jovenel Moise in 2021. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
Russia and China are considering constructing a nuclear power plant on the moon that will be from 2033 to 2035. Head of Russia's space agency says this would allow lunar settlements to be built. One more time, let's hear from Kolo Mohammed.
In a joint statement, the two nations said they are considering a project to deliver and install a power unit on the lunar surface. The statement further adds that solar panels will not be able to provide enough energy to power future lunar settlements, while nuclear power could. Both countries admit that it is a very serious challenge and will be in automatic mode without the presence of humans. Russia also spoke of plans to build a nuclear-powered cargo spaceship. Spokesmen of the two countries assured that all technical questions concerning the project had been solved, apart from finding a solution to how to cool the nuclear reactor. They are also working on a space tugboat. The huge cyclopean structure, thanks to a nuclear reactor and high-power turbines, will transport large cargoes from one orbit to another, collect space debris, and engage in many other applications. Russian officials have spoken before of an ambitious plan to one day mine in the moon, but Russian space program had suffered a series of setbacks in recent years. Its first moon mission in 47 years failed last year after Russian Luna 25 spacecraft spun out of control and crashed. Moscow has said it will launch further lunar missions and then explore the possibility of a joint Russian-China crewed mission and even a lunar base. Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
A look at the judiciary. Protection of the rights of the underaged in society is one of the aims of promulgating the Child Rights Act. The Federal Ministry of Justice and UNICEF are reviewing the legal aid guidelines to prosecute cases relating to children who get into conflict with the law. Olabode Arewa reports.
Children are one of the vulnerable persons in any society. Due to their limited maturity levels, they are usually protected from harm through the instrumentality of the law. But sometimes they get on the wrong side of the law. This has been an issue of concern to key players in law enforcement in Nigeria, prompting this review meeting in Abuja on child rights protection in the country.
Most children who are in contact with the law find the experience of legal proceedings confusing at best and a source of fear, distress, secondary victimization at worst.
Laws are supposed to be organic and change with the changing nature of society. Laws are not supposed to be static.
Irrespective of whether such children are the perpetrators, the victims, or the witnesses to the crime, the forum observed that children oftentimes do not break the law of their own free will.
We all should bear in mind that the impact of our decisions today will affect many children, either positively or negatively, when they are in contact with the law within our system.
They see a future that includes them as principal contributors to societal development. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Food security is now a major concern, and it's dominating discuss with the government making commitment towards addressing food insecurity in the country. Now, one of such commitment is the provision of heavy-duty equipment in farming for smallholder farmers to enable them expand production. Musa Baba Ali reports that President Tinubu has also directed the production and supply of 2,000 tractors annually.
Nigeria is among the countries with the lowest utilization of heavy-duty equipment for farming activities, with 0.27 horsepower per hectare against the FAO recommendation of 1.5 horsepower per hectare. The total population of tractors in the country was put at 50,000.
What that implies is that we are still at subsistence level in terms of the equipment our farmers use to carry out planting, weeding, harvesting, and all the other, activities in agriculture.
To bridge this tractor utilization gap led to this understanding between the federal government and John D. Group. The MOU signed under the directive of the president is for the John D. Group to produce 2,000 tractors every year for the next 10 years. The agreement was signed in November 2023, and this is a follow-up by management of the producers.
It's a bigger scheme. It's a longer project that we are working on, and we are really excited. We know this is going to work. We just need to cross the last couple of hurdles.
And this is a program that would also not only impact on John Deere. We have other programs that will come into being, like the Green Imperative program that is from the Brazilian government with the assistance of Deutsche Bank, where we are going to set up 774 service centers, that is in each local government of the Federation.
The government is also expecting another 6,000 tractors under the agreement with Brazil under the More Food program. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The federal government has inaugurated a group of seasoned technocrats and environmental professionals from various ministries, departments and agencies, as well as the organized private sector for sustainable procurement, environmental and social standards, also not leaving out enhancement project. Charles Alpha reports that with this group, government is working to address inadequate supply of qualified professionals in the procurement and environmental management system.
I hereby officially inaugurate the working group on environment.
Before now, governments have lamented inadequate human capacity in sustainable procurement, environmental and social standards in both the public and private sectors. However, the present administration has recognized the need for a stronger pool of professionals to drive its standard procurement program. Inaugurating the working group in Abuja, Minister of Environment Balarabe Abbas Lawal says the group will play a pivotal role in filling the void, equipping the workforce with the expertise needed to achieve sustainable practices across various sectors.
It is important to note that this project goals align seamlessly with the President Tinubu's vision for a more transparent procurement process. And by enhancing our environmental and social standards, we are taking an important step toward achieving this objective.
You have been entrusted with historic responsibility to contribute to the success of this national and patriotic assignment.
Their key role, one, is to support the PIU in ensuring uptake of the project.
The Minister of Environment Balarabe Abbas Lawal lauds the World Bank and the federal government of Nigeria through the Ministry of Finance, Budgets and National Planning for their invaluable support and commitment to these innovative projects. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The Presidential Communication Command and Control Center in the Office of the National Security Advisor says there are gaps in the timing and capabilities of crisis response agencies, hence the need to organize a crisis response recall exercise. The Director General of the Center, Rear Admiral Musa Katagum, who stated this in Abuja, stressed that agencies should improve on their conduct in crisis management and response. This exercise, organized by the Presidential Command and Control Center, is to evaluate their timing, professional conduct and functionality in the event of emergencies.
The thing is that we know that gaps will continue to exist, and we are not lying low, and that is why the NSA has tasked us to conduct this exercise. Don't forget, what we see an agency lacking, we are going to write to them, and efforts will be made to provide for them.
July 2024 conduct a national exercise to test the capabilities of the agencies in terms of counter-terrorism, fire incidences and other disasters that may occur. We'll take a break now, but back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says all candidates seating the 2024 mock UTME scheduled to hold on Thursday, that is 7th March, are allowed to enter the examination hall with ordinary HP pencil for numerical analysis if they so desire. The board says the clarification became necessary following a series of inquiries from candidates and the general public regarding whether HP pencils are permitted in the examination hall as a writing material. The board has, however, okayed the use of ordinary HP pencil during the upcoming mock UTME and the main scheduled to commence Friday, 19th April 2024. Candidates are asked to ensure that they are not in possession of any other prohibited items. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated President of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, on the award of the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo Prize for Leadership. Adesina joins the pantheon of other previous winners of the award, such as Nigeria's Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, former President of South Africa Thabo Mbeki, and lawyer, educationist Afe Babalola. President Tinubu commends the AFDB president for his visionary and noble endeavor to transform agriculture in Africa and ensure food security on the continent. An impeachment notice has been served on the Edo State Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, by members of the Edo State House of Assembly. Now, the petition, which contained the notice of impeachment, was allegedly signed by 21 of the 24 lawmakers, and the clerk of the House is to serve the notice, giving Philip Shaibu 7 days to respond. Obehi Apreze takes it from here.
The impeachment notice, signed by 21 APC and PDP lawmakers, is based on allegations of instigating disunity in the three arms of government and disclosing top government secrets.
The reasons as contained in the said notice are two. Number one reason is that sometime last year, July last year, he filed on the 26th of July, as a matter of fact, he filed a suit against the three organs of government and disclosed, knowing it to be false, informations that are not true, that are baseless, and more importantly, he filed under oath matters that are top government secret, contrary to his oath of office as embedded in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So by doing that, the House, 21 members of the House signed the petition. That is for you to know how popular this sentiment is.
The Speaker, Blessing Agbebaku, directs the clerk to serve the notice to the embattled Deputy Governor, giving him 7 days to respond to the allegations. The next line of action in the impeachment process of the Deputy Governor is for the State Chief Judge to set up a committee that will review the allegations leveled against the Deputy Governor by the state lawmakers, as well as his response to these allegations. This is to ensure that due process is followed in the impeachment of the Deputy Governor. From the State House of Assembly, Obehi Apreze, NTA News.
The complexity of governance in Nigeria requires solutions which are multifaceted, owing to the diversity of areas where critical changes are required and the challenge of making public requisite administrative requirements and attitudinal shifts. And this was part of submissions by speakers at the 2024 colloquium of the Council of Retired Federal Permanent Secretaries and Heads of the Civil Service of the Federation. Haman Jabani reports that the theme of the colloquium is Reflections of Nigeria's Public Service, Way Forward for Good Governance.
The Council of Retired Federal Permanent Secretaries and Heads of the Civil Service of the Federation was established with the aim of carrying out periodic objective assessment of the overall performance of the nation and giving constructive advice to key public policy issues, as well as assisting to restore and maintain the proper role of the civil service as a non-partisan organ to serve the government and the nation. Speakers at the colloquium were unanimous that the public service is an institution that is crucial, and due to its importance, it is therefore necessary to remind all Nigerians that as an institution, it signifies humility, service, and commitment in terms of imparting knowledge and advising government on policy options that will enhance living standards and the nation's economy.
We are very, very sad about the perception of the civil service. We are very, very sad about the talks on corruption, inefficiency, incompetence, and so on and so forth. So it is in our mind to be bold enough to tell us the truth that we should, for the purpose of the survival of this great country, retrace our steps and do the correct thing.
We need public education to recognize that we cannot keep asking government to keep creating more and more and more institutions when they are created more funded on a continuing basis. And government resources do not grow as fast as the responsibilities. So therefore, the unnecessary type of exercise must be continuous.
The civil servants, right now, our public perception is terrible. Is in fact worse than that of the politician. We had some expectations from the civil servants. And when that goes, the greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment.
They noted that retirees are better placed to give a sense of direction to those still in the system, and it is time to bring back meritocracy in employment and appointment.
The theme is the way forward. And you have here about 5 former heads of service, almost about 30 of us who are retired permanent secretaries from different generations. So we'll be able to discuss and make appropriate recommendations to government.
We must restore gatekeeping. The civil service has become a place for all comers. And that's the beginning, apart from the fact that there is a total breakdown of competency-based human resource management, and we must restore it. Of course, the pay issue and compensation incentive is a critical thing in attracting the best talent.
Coffees believes that it will assist in restoring and maintaining the public role of the civil service as a non-partisan organ to better serve the government and the nation. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
The Commandant General, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, has vowed to implement gender policy document and urged officers to report incidences of violence and harassment in the Corps. He made the commitment while declaring open a one-day sensitization program in Abuja. The program was organized by the NSCDC in collaboration with the UN Women Initiative, Germany and Norway. The Commandant General stressed the negative consequences of workplace violence and harassment over numerous industries and organizations. He said the impact affects productivity and overall growth of the workplace.
Launch its gender policy, and with that there is the promotion of gender inclusivity in the Corps, and we believe that with this sensitization workshop the staff will now be taught on how to have a direction on how to conduct their behavior in terms of how they relate to each other.
Our Corps will work relentlessly to institute this mechanism and provide necessary assistance in terms of consent and legal support.
As the FCT Commandant, after today we're going to take whatever lessons and gains of this workshop back to the command, and of course, to ensure that our personnel, officers and men, regardless of their gender.
Before we go, let's have a quick check at the weather prospect for Thursday. That concludes the news. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Franklin Efe. Have a good evening.